What up, what up? Hi, my lovers and friends. This is Simone Keela, and welcome back to my channel. Or if you're new here, thanks for dropping by. Here we talk about all things growth, from locks to leadership to love, and everything in between. Today is all about my 1 month check-in. I made it one beautiful month of being locked. And so I want to share with you guys some of my observations, what I'm anticipating. I'm a little nervous about all of that. But before I do, I first want to share with you guys a little bit about what got me to this moment. So running it back, my little 10-year or so natural hair, loose natural journey. And then we'll get into the 1 month updates. So let's go. So this was around the time of my big chop. But for the most part, all of the photos and videos within this are from random stages in my loose natural journey. And I had a lot of fun. I tried different things, experimented pretty often. I wore twists, just twisted back my hair when I was home and during the work week. But then when I was in these streets, I let it be free. Didn't dye it or anything, but I got an undercut. And here's one wash and go that I did. It was not very often that I did wash and goes. But my hair didn't really get super long at any point. This was a few months before I locked up. I tried faux locks probably 3 years ago. Really enjoyed them. Really enjoyed them. So I got a taste of lock life. And what I found was that with these protective styles, these braids, these twists, the faux locks, the more that I had them, the less I wanted to go back to my loose natural hair. I just really loved having my hair individual braids and stuff. And that brings me to this point. This was day 1 of my lock journey. All right, so that's how we've gotten here, y'all. 5 beautiful weeks. So I want to share with you guys what's happening on this head of mine. The big thing that I'm really kind of jazzed about is we're starting to bud. So throughout my hair, budding is starting to take place primarily in the back of my head. And for those that don't know, budding is when your hair starts to mat and swell, and it forms essentially the net that catches the hair that's shedding. And so it's a lot that's happening in the back. I honestly didn't anticipate it starting to happen so early on in the process, but I'm jazzed about it. Because that's really like my hair beginning to lock. I'm guessing what may be one contributing factor is that I've been spraying my hair with rose water and vitamin E oil just to keep it moisturized, but apparently water helps in terms of speeding up the process. So that's one thing that I've noticed. For the most part, you still see like the coil formation, if you will, but it is getting frizzier, and I anticipate that it's just going to be getting more and more frizzy. I noticed a little bit of growth. I felt like I did, at least, from the first day to when I got my retwist. But what ends up happening is that throughout, as I move further along within the retwist, it's the shrinkage that happens. And with more budding that's going to take place, especially because I have medium length hair, I believe like the budding's going to happen throughout all of the locks, and so my hair might shrink up a little bit more before it actually starts to show any length. So those are just the things where I'm like, okay, like I haven't like lost too much length from like day 1, but it's probably coming. As you can tell, like I try to get these baby hairs down. I use the same edge control that I did when I was a loose natural. But y'all, if you have edge control suggestions, please let me know. Please let me know. I'm nervous a little bit about builds up. I use curls, and I haven't had a problem. I try to essentially like wash around my hairline nightly, every other night, whenever I use the edge control. But especially as my locks start to mature, I just want to be mindful of the products that I'm putting in my hair. So if y'all have like edge control suggestions, and know that like I care more about like there being no gunk versus like having like the slickest edges. because you can see like it's not even slick anymore, you know? So yeah, I anticipate there being more shrinkage along the way, more frizziness. I'm starting to get like the little fairy guy starting to come. I trimmed my hair like the first day I got locks, so I know that that's not on me. That's just like the part of the process. And about the process, I am trying to, as much as possible, embrace every step of the way. Like, I really realized from this that, you know, it's really your own individual journey. And they say that for a reason. And even when it comes to like the budding, one thing I'm like, you know, curious about, right, is, you know, is this the size that my like fully formed locks are going to be? How do I feel about that? Like, some of them look like they're going to be real fat. Others look like, you know, that's the size I anticipated. Like this one is not the one. It was one in the back that like, oh, like he might be a little fatter. And so, you know, like there may not be like perfect uniformity all the way through, and just trying to as much as possible to embrace that and embrace the imperfection, because it's for me, it's my journey, right? These are going to be my locks and no one's going to be able to recreate them. Besides that, I did combine 2 locks. I guess I'll just take this down. Or my lactations, that I should say, when I went for my retwist. So these 2 here were essentially 4 before. And so the hair around my perimeter is essentially the loosest hair, most fragile hair. I'd say all my hair is pretty fragile, but like more fragile than all the other ones. And so I was a little bit nervous that it wasn't enough hair in those. And so, you know, we'll see what happens if these end up being like jumbo locks as a result. And she also combined one in the back. So I'd have to count my locks at some point. In terms of styles, like that little, like this situation is like the easiest thing I could do. So it's not so much forehead looking at you. So I kind of am into that as my hair starts to thicken up again. But then I also I love this one headband that I got from Grace Alaya. And it's really nice because it's like the silk or satin or whatever that's used. So it's also like, you know, good as far as the health of your hair. More scarves and wraps and everything that I typically use. But I work from home, so like for the most part, I don't necessarily need to cover up my hair very often. If I get in a Zoom call, like either this, the headband, or like I like put my hair back, and then it's like if I have my edges, it's like a fine enough look to me. Or honestly, I just do like that and tuck this, and you know, to me, like that's fine, right? Like I no longer want to subscribe to anything where it's like locks are not professional. Like I'm no longer subscribing to that, and if that's what people believe or think, then I need nothing to do with their organization. That's the way of a mom right now, y'all. So yeah, that's basically it. Again, if you guys have edge control recommendations, let me know. If there's anything else that may be interesting along the way, I'm thinking that maybe I'll do like a 3-month check-in, because I don't necessarily think too much is going to change. But I do, when I have more kind of buds throughout, I do want to come back and show you guys that. So whenever that ends up happening, I'll return specifically with a lock video. But yeah, there'll be more lock stuff, but I am a creativepreneur, if you will. I write. And so I want to share some of that stuff. I also left corporate America, so I want to share that interesting wild journey. And I've lived in a few places, and I love to travel. So there's other elements and other kind of videos that I'll bring you guys. But if there's anything that you're super interested in hearing more about, just let me know. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and press the like button, hit subscribe. I think I got that right. And I will see you next time, y'all.